What is going on, Cubs fam? I am beyond hype to tell you today that Darth Malgus is coming to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and I have a bunch of Star Wars nerds to talk about this with you today. We're going to do some intros. You're seeing some familiar faces and maybe some newer faces here. Right immediately over here, we have got Meathead. Say hello, Meathead.
How's it going?
And no, he is not working on DSA today. He's actually working on Swugga. So you've come over to the man's game. Thank you very much.
Glad to be here.
Just kidding. I love DSA. And then Mouse, good to see you. Say hello.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
This is a very ominous background you have right now. I think it is appropriate.
I hope so.
Yeah. Good to see you, Mouse. And then a new face that if you are not playing SWOTOR, at least on the regular, you may not be aware of Charles, who is here from the SWOTOR development team. Charles, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
This is the first, I think, interview I've ever done on this channel with a dev who was not working with CG, with SWOTOR. So it's great to see the collaboration, and I'm sure that there's a lot of fun perspective that you can bring to the table. So we're glad that you're here.
Thank you.
All right. And then finally, you guys know Miller, the executor doctor. How you doing, Miller?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. Well, that's just my impression of you because that's the main interview I did with you. So it's good to see you, man.
It's good seeing you as well. I'm excited to get Malgus out in the world.
I think we all are.
Absolutely.
We definitely all are.
Yeah, and so I've got several questions here that I want to ask you guys and discuss, but before we even get into that, I just want to say I fell out of my chair when Meathead showed me that this was Malgus. That was about the last thing I was expecting to see in this game right now.
No, that was, I mean, talking to you about it like at, what was it, 8:30 at night, being like, hey, do you want to do something fun? And you're like, I don't know if I have the time, but then I'm like, I think you want to do this. And you're like, once you saw it, you're like, okay, I'm good.
I didn't say I didn't have time.
I know you didn't say it, but you know, got to spice it up for everybody watching.
No, it was.
Is there a more?
What was that?
Is there a more Malgus move than to attack by surprise unexpectedly?
Right. Yeah. That's a very good point. Lore appropriate, which we will definitely talk about. So, all right. Well, let's just jump right into this. To get everything started, I like to talk about what inspired you to bring Malgus to the game. Where are you drawing inspiration from the lore? That kind of goes along with, we'll say this is kind of question one and question two. Inspiration for Malgus and kind of where you are drawing from the lore of SWOTOR and his story to incorporate into the kit. So kind of like a big question, and anyone can just jump in that wants to kind of talk about that.
Yeah, I can start talking about the inspiration for the kit, and then maybe Miller can take the inspiration for just why we decide him now.
Yeah.
So, like, as far as the kit goes, drew a lot of inspiration from cinematics, especially the Steve cinematic from SWOTOR, as he's walking through, just dispatching Jedi left, right, and center. That was very inspiring when I saw it when it first came out, and so getting to just like take that inspiration and incorporate into our game was a huge deal.
Yeah.
We also took some mechanical inspiration from some of his Flashpoint appearances, trying to get, it doesn't always translate one-to-one, from SWOTOR to SWOGO, obviously, but trying to at least get some nods from there. Lore-wise, a lot of his names try to kind of, tip the hat towards some of his more meaningful appearances or dialogue. Things like, Dark Deception, where he goes on to tell the Jedi how they've been deceived, things like that.
Yeah.
He is a very strong leader character, as we've seen throughout his appearances in SWOTOR. That's a very important aspect of his identity that we really wanted to capture. And of course, he is very resilient. Spoiler, he's a tank for the Sith Empire faction.
He has to be a tank. I mean, the dude, like, it didn't matter how much he got injured. He was going after that Sean girl. It was just nothing stopping him.
He got injured a lot, too. He just kept coming, so exactly.
He's like a zombie almost. He's like another Scion.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Early on, just a fun kind of anecdote during his development here. There was a brief moment that considered making him a summoner, where he would summon alien mercenaries. But after we kind of like fiddled around with it, it just didn't quite capture the majority. Like, it was a nice lore nod, right? But it didn't capture the essence when you think of Malgus you really think big, imposing Sith. But it was a fun world to live in for a brief period of time.
Well, thanks for shattering my hopes in one sentence. No, but that's really awesome. And I when I think of Malgus, that dark, imposing Sith figure is absolutely what comes to mind for me. This dude conquered basically everything, and at the end, it was basically him just becoming too overconfident that ended up having him kind of turn the sword on himself, so to speak. So that's really cool. All right, Miller, did you want to talk a little bit about why now? Why Malgus now? Because maybe it's just, is this just like a we don't like Jedi at CG thing because you're bringing in the Inquisitors, you're wrecking down all my Jedi counters, and now Malgus, I mean, obviously he's going to be a Jedi killer.
Yeah, as you know, we work on the roadmap a long time in advance.
Right.
And, we knew that Old Republic was having their 10th anniversary this year, right? And we wanted to do something special for them.
10 years already.
And the most obvious play there was to get their poster child, the statue that came in my collector's edition, into our game. We knew that he wanted to be powerful. And as you know, we kind of hand out our characters power level in where you acquire them, right? A marquee level character that everybody gets for free is going to be on the lower end of the spectrum. A galactic legend where you have to get, a bunch of characters to high relic levels in order to even attempt to get them is going to be at the other end. But kind of in the middle are like the legendary events and conquests. And so when we knew we wanted him to be powerful, we knew he had to be kind of in that middle area there. And so we looked at the schedule, we looked at conquests. We knew what the first set of conquests reward was going to be. And so we actually thought it was going to be pretty cool to have Malgus be in that the next set for the year, which is right around May 4th. And so we got, great synergy between, the brand's big holiday, SWTOR's 10th anniversary, and us, kind of kicking off a brand new set of conquests.
Did you just tell us that he's a conquest character?
He is absolutely a conquest character.
Well, check that question off my list. There we go, guys. Conquest character for Malgus. And so, I've got conquest questions I want to ask, but we could probably have that another time.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm like, let's not make this too hard. Okay,
Charles, you had some great insight on like the backstory between the two studios.
Yeah, we were just so excited when this opportunity came up, right? Like we always hang out at Star Wars Celebration. Y'all always welcome us to your booth to hang out. We're always excited to have y'all come for our Cantina events that we've had in the past. Both studios share freebies and goodies with each other. We can get free stuff in Galaxy of Heroes. We try to hook y'all up with free stuff in Old Republic. It makes sense, right? We're all at the same company. At the end of the day, we're all on Star Wars. We're all Star Wars fans. We're all cool folks. So, it's been that way for years. I think we've all wished we could be even more connected, even more collaborative on stuff. So when this came up, when this opportunity finally happened, I think we were all thrilled, very much on the Old Republic side to see Malgus come to life over there. It's such a cool opportunity, such a cool crossover for us, for fans, for everybody, really. It's just it's so cool.
So Charles, if I'm understanding you right, it sounds like there is a bromance between CG and the SWTOR studio.
Well, for sure. How could there not be? Look at the quality of people we're talking about here. This is
we're all huge Star Wars nerds. We have our little lore playhouse. They have their lore playhouse. To connect the two playhouses together is exciting.
Well, I think like there's such a focus on characters, right, in both games, obviously in very different ways, but still, like at the end of the day, right, like it's all about awesome characters that everyone really likes, really connects with, loves to hate, whatever, right? Like you want to see them go into action in a Star Wars toy box. So yeah, it just makes sense.
Yeah, it sounds like this probably holds for you guys over at SWOTOR, Charles. But one thing that one of my major impressions every time I meet a new developer at Capital Games is these guys are peak Star Wars nerds. Like, say what you want, these guys know their shit when it comes to Star Wars. So I will bleep that out.
Yeah, like we certainly try to have a variety, right? Like we had a person on the team once who, I forget their exact words, but basically they were like, I watched the movies over and over growing up. My whole life, I watched every Star Wars movie, probably 100 times. And I thought that made me a hardcore Star Wars fan until I worked here and didn't realize there was all this other stuff. So like Star Wars fans, like there's a huge variety there. And so it's cool to, want to meet people where they're at, but I obviously can't pretend I'm not at the deep end of that pool for sure.
There is a rabbit hole that you can go down and it does not stop. So, okay. Well, that's great, Charles. Thanks for the input. So now you kind of touched on this a little bit, but I want to give you a chance to speak a little more directly to this. Where is he going to fit in terms of the meta? Now, obviously, we know he's Conquest, and so we've kind of got Conquest characters and where we know they tend to place. But is there anything you want to say specifically about the current state of the meta and where you guys expect Malgus to kind of fit into that?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that Malgus introduces for the Sith Empire team is flexibility. It will kind of help free up some of your existing Sith Empire characters to go to other teams, fulfill different roles, 3v3, 5v5, whatever the situation may be. In terms of the actual meta, the intention really is that he is going to keep Sith Empire pretty elevated. Maybe allow them to beat some teams maybe they had some issues with before. But when he has his Omicron active and you're in the appropriate mode, he will enable them to challenge certain galactic legends.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like
Weird.
to hear. Yeah. So, okay, well, let's talk Omicrons. Where is his mode-specific Omicron going to be, and why is it Grand Arena?
Weird. It is Grand Arena.
Yes! Thank you. These are the Omicrons I need.
Yeah, it felt like the most appropriate mode for him to get an Omicron in. And it really helps bring a lot of power for the Sith Empire team for situations like Galactic Legends.
Wonderful. Okay, so he's going to be working against Galactic Legends in Grand Arena. Is there anything specific you can tell me about the Omicron abilities? Anything cool that he brings to the table that maybe we haven't seen before? Anything that is a especially cool nod to his lore? Anything like that you're willing to share at this point?
Yeah, I can tell you he brings with him obviously a lot of new things, but one of the pillars that he kind of stands on is a new debuff called Doubt. And Doubt is intended to be it's similar to Shock. It will prevent things like being able to gain buffs, bonus turn meter, and then it also prevents protection recovery. Now you can still gain protection, like you can increase your max pool, but you won't be able to recover it while you have Doubt on there. Okay. Now as a debuff, it just stands by itself and it does the cool things I just mentioned. But Malgus, with his Omicrons, will actually have a great deal of synergy with Doubt, and it will allow him to actually spread it not just to his main target, but throughout the team. In addition to that, through his Omicrons, he will also have various ways where he will punish you if you decide to dispel Doubt.
Oh, interesting. So that's a very anti-Jedi mechanic.
I don't know what you could possibly mean.
Okay, nice. Miller, anything you want to add, or Meathead? I mean, I know you know the intricate details of all these kits already.
Absolutely.
Anything anybody else wants to add about the Omicrons?
Not about the Omicron, but I'm going to jump back to the Conquest stuff. Yes, he's a Conquest character. That means he gets to be powerful. That means his Omicrons let him challenge Galactic Legends. In addition, we're kind of doing something unique and new with this Conquest, and that is in the final battle on the hard mode. We are going to summon Malgus on your side, and so you actually get to play him.
I approve. Yes.
Yep.
So, okay. Anything? So, is there anything else you could tell me about that, or is that all you're willing to share?
That's all we're going to talk about right now. Yep.
Okay, cool. Charles, it kind of makes me think as we're talking about the Omicrons. For you, I don't know how familiar you are with kit design in Galaxy of Heroes. When you get involved, coming from a SWOTOR perspective, are you kind of in those conversations, helping decide what's going on with kits? Is that something that was part of your involvement, or is there anything else? Or maybe it was just, no, he does not have a green lightsaber or stuff like that.
No, obviously these guys are awesome and gave us a lot of opportunity to weigh in. But we, only the lightest of touch, really, right? They y'all know what you're doing far better than we do for your game. So really, most of our involvement was just in, talking about at a high level, right? Like, what is it about Malgus that we think is unique? What drives his character? What kind of drives the way he fights, right? Stuff that the Mouse is talking about. And also like referencing specific things. Like Doubt is very much a reference to Malgus's in-game abilities in SWOTOR. So, looking for fun places for crossover like that. We talked about ability, names and stuff a little bit, but really in terms of like implementing that stuff, right? Like, leave that to the experts. We're just excited to be along for the ride.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And yeah, experts is a good way to put that. We sometimes joke in the Galaxy of Heroes community that you need a PhD to understand some of these kits, because as the longer the game goes on, the more complicated they get. And I think that speaks to the longevity of the game, if I can interject on that, because the complexity I find extremely satisfying at times, and other times I just need my chat to tell me what the hell just happened. So, all right. Well, let's move on. It sounds like I wanted to talk about what characters he's going to work with. Mouse, a couple times you mentioned Sith Empire. I think that's kind of a given. Anything you guys want to talk about team composition? Anything you're able to share about where you think he's going to work as far as who's on his team?
Yeah, he works very well with Sith Empire, obviously, but he also works well with Sith in general.
Okay.
Not quite as well as Sith Empire for a lot of very important reasons. But one of the important things we needed is if you wanted to take Malik out, for example, like if you felt Malgus was enough of a tank and you wanted Malik to float somewhere else, that we needed to have options. So characters like Darth Talon are actually a really good slot in there because she'll provide really potent passives and things like that he will absolutely care about. He really enjoys max health. Once you get the kit, you'll see why. One Sith Empire character that he doesn't work as well with is HK-47. HK-47 is not a Sith, so there is some synergy there that just doesn't work.
Okay, cool. Do you expect this to kind of replace Darth Revan as the go-to Sith Empire leader? Or are you expecting maybe two teams to carve out of this eventually? Is there anything you can say about that?
Yeah, Darth Revan is still a very, very powerful leader. And I think it's going to kind of depend on the situation, whether the teams you're facing, which one you kind of decide you want to slot in there. And obviously what you have access to in your roster at that time.
Yeah. You mentioned he's a powerful leader. Have you guys done any testing or anything you can speak to on maybe sometimes I'll want to use Darth Revan as a leader, but still have Malgus in as a support character? Or is it like Malgus, his leadership ability, it's like he's a leader or you're not even taking him?
No, he has really strong just general tanking potential. Okay. So even when he's not in the leader slot, he is still a good addition for Sith Empire. But him being in the leader slot is pretty important for the ability to challenge Galactic Legends with his leader Omicron specifically. But he still has other roles that he can help fulfill even if he's not in the leader slot.
Okay. Right on. Okay, well, moving on. And this is one, maybe, Meathead, I got to get you in here somehow.
No, that's okay. I'm just here as a pretty face.
What? Meathead, what are you most excited about with Malgus coming to Galaxy of Heroes?
Yeah,
we'll let everybody answer this.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm excited mostly for watching what the community is going to do with the character. as folks know, it's been probably 2 years since I played, so me getting this character is going to be a bit of a stretch. So, I mean, I just unlocked gas 5 seconds before this interview.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm excited.
Wow.
That was a fun battle. Let's just say that.
Yeah, you need him.
Yes. But yeah, watching the community, seeing how they use the character, seeing where they slot it, see what strategies they come up with it, seeing the things that we didn't think about. That's probably what I'm most excited about.
And you know there's going to be things you didn't think about.
Yeah, of course.
No, that's the thing I'm least excited about.
So yeah, exactly. I understand that's what Miller's least excited about. Like, but for me, I enjoy watching just players find and create things and look into a kit and find just these weird combinations that no one really would have thought about unless you've spent 20 hours out of your 24-hour day testing the character in like every slot possible. So that's what I'm most excited for.
There is a fun dynamic that tends to happen where you have this studio of what? I don't know, 100 people? I don't know how many people are at CG, but less than, hundreds of thousands of people that play the game. And then all of a sudden, this entire community is just finding every single possible avenue to use the character. That is, I guess, exciting and probably, as Miller suggested, maybe terrifying at times.
I tell my designers that if it takes the community 2 weeks to find something broken about the character, then they did an excellent job.
Okay, so Meathead, excited about the community. Spoken like a true community man. Good job. You're doing your job right. You're doing your job right.
Perfect.
Mouse, what about you? What are you most excited about?
Oh man, so this is gonna sound really biased, but honestly, like just getting Malgus into the game is it's a huge dream come true for me. One of my very first days at the studio doing orientation, and I was sitting there standing right next to the Malgus statue, and it's obviously larger than I am. I'm a short guy. I remember looking up at it and going, man, it'd be so cool if we ever got that into the game. So the fact that like that is actually happening, and the fact that I had anything to do with that is honestly just super satisfying. It's satisfaction you don't always get the opportunity to achieve. So I'm very excited about that. I'm extremely excited to see just what the community will do with him. There's lots of ideas, lots of things that I've tried, lots of cool strategies I've found, but I love seeing what the community comes up with.
Awesome. I really hope the community finds a way for Malgus to defeat the Executor, because I need more options to defeat the Executor. So,
launch him into space. See what happens.
Hey, Starkiller could do it. Charles, what are you most excited about?
I think I'm with Mouse mostly, right? Like I'm just excited to see Malgus turning up somewhere unexpected, like we were joking about earlier. But yeah, getting a chance for maybe there's some folks who aren't so familiar with Old Republic. Getting a hint at that deeper into the pool that they maybe didn't know about. Learning about some new characters, and honestly, more than anything else, maybe this means we can do some more in the future. I don't know. That would be really cool.
Who knows?
That's not me subtly announcing anything. I'm just saying I think it would be very cool.
You see the dev freak out in there, like, I am not announcing anything. I'm just saying it would be fun to work on this again. So
this was such a treat. I want to do it, 3 times a week for the rest of my career.
Do you have any other characters in your game?
Dude, yeah.
I think 1 or 2. I think.
Can we bring in his Twilight girlfriend so he can kill her and get more powerful?
Oh.
I'm sure Mouse had that in one of the original kit designs. So.
Not untrue, actually. Yeah, it's true. I was like, it'd be cool if we could get her in there, but that was another summon concept that we had kind of tossed around.
Give him an ultimate ability where he summons like this Twilight and then kills her, and then all of a sudden he gets all these bonus stats like rage and anger.
A weird version.
We don't think of these ideas. Even if they're jokes in a design meeting, someone is probably going to say them.
I'm always surprised when people are like, "Oh, that Malgus, he's so romantic and misunderstood." I'm like, dude, murdered his girlfriend. He's a bad guy. Like,
but
you may agree with some of the things he says, but he's not a good guy. Like,
he used that pain though to become more powerful. No, he's a murderer.
I don't like the bad guy. Just know they're a bad guy. That's it.
I like what you said. Something I want to touch on a personal note, Charles. I like the opportunity that bringing characters like this from other aspects of Star Wars into the game does to help educate people on other aspects of Star Wars lore that maybe they haven't gotten into. And that plays into my story. I was I thought I was a hardcore Star Wars fan before I started playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes when it launched in 2015. But then I started playing this game. I'm like, who's this Ahashoka girl? I didn't even know who she was because I hadn't taken the chance to watch Clone Wars yet. And so I started digging into that. And because of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, my knowledge of Star Wars lore and my the content I've consumed and the YouTube videos I've watched and everything has just expanded so much. And so I like that you touched on that, because I think that's one of the special things in my mind about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is that you see characters from quite literally every aspect of Star Wars lore. And I hope that encourages people to go, if you don't know the story of Malgus, it's pretty intense. Definitely go look it up, at least watch a YouTube video on it before you unlock the character.
Go play the game. Go play Old Republic. It's really good.
It is fun.
I finished the storyline for all the classes. It's excellent.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. I don't have any Cantina coins.
Awesome. Okay, so I was going to ask, how are we going to unlock Malgus, which we already know it's Conquest. We talked about how we're going to have him summoned on our side for the... What did you say it was the last boss battle?
The last boss battle.
Okay. Are there any other unlock details we might want to be aware of, or is it just normal Conquest, 7-star unlock, 3 conquests is what you're going to need to unlock him?
I believe all that still tracks, yes.
Okay, cool. So really not a whole lot else to talk about there. Now, I love mods in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Initial modding tips anyone wants to give. It sounds like, based on a comment earlier, I'm thinking this is a full health set.
Full health set is excellent for him. It's going to help his general tankiness. It will also help some of his damage output. I will also say that defense is actually a really nice slot in and really helps him weather a few storms. Interestingly enough, you probably don't want a lot of tenacity on him. A little spoiler, he works pretty well when he gets debuffed.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Ooh.
So he's going to use those debuffs. See, that's lore appropriate, right? The more he gets damaged, the more resolved he gets, the more angry he gets, and he just comes at you even stronger.
Yep,
until you bury him in a mountain.
Well, he still comes back. I mean,
yeah, it just needs a little bit of time to catch his breath.
Yeah, it has to catch his breath.
Okay, cool. So health sets are great. Defense sets are great. Avoid the tenacity. Is he a character that you're gonna want to find a way to slot damage onto, or does he kind of just figure out? Is it kind of like a Grievous where his health slots into damage, or anything you can say about that?
In a limited fashion, like the health will slot into some of his damage.
Okay.
I would probably not advise like specifically trying to make him into a big damage dealer. I think if you build him tanky, he will naturally fulfill some like a bit of a damage role as well. Okay.
So not necessarily a big damage dealer. It's his tank value and utility and debuffs and everything else is going to kind of bring the punch to the table.
I will make the claim. I will make the claim that he has high single target damage myself, but that's just coming from me.
Okay, so he's going to be just like Omega.
Yes, absolutely.
Now I'm really hype.
Oh, just you wait. Just wait.
Just you wait. I am excited. Okay. Now the final question I had prepared for you is I would really like, so right now we have not seen the kit. I have not seen the kit. I would really like to see the kit, but I have not seen it. I don't believe the community will have seen the kit by the time we release this video. Are you able to give us any sneak peeks on any abilities? Like just read it off, or any sneak peeks you can give us on the kit?
We talked a little bit about doubt and the fact that he will be able to spread it a little bit. I'm trying to think about what's juicy without giving away too much.
I mean, doubt was really
you can give away too much. It's okay.
Well, I mean, since you said I can, I'll tell you a little bit about. So I mentioned that one of the things that's really cool about Malgus is, from a design perspective, he's kind of opened some doors in terms of punishing, if you dispel some of the effects. So I'll kind of mention that on his leader ability, one of the things he has is that whenever doubt is dispelled on an enemy, that enemy is inflicted with expose for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. Now, there are many other punishment mechanics associated with that as well. That just happens to be one of them.
It's a good kit. I've looked at the kit. It's a nice kit.
I really like
please,
the design
elaborate.
space that opened up with the dispel or expire triggering stuff. I think Aiden was the first or one of the first, and that was your character as well. So
Yeah, it was.
yeah, so you kind of pioneered this design space for us now, and we're loving it.
Won't be
Exciting.
the last time you see it. I'll definitely say that.
Okay. Okay, that's exciting. Anything else you guys are Miller? Anything you can tell me? Mouse
No, we
seems more
covered-
tight-lipped.
We covered basically everything we're going to talk about on Malgus. He's a conquest character. He is pulled, as straight from Old Republic as we possibly could with our Polygon budget, and plopped into our game and designed excellently by Mouse. And I think players are going to have a blast with him.
All right. Sounds good. Well, I, for one, am super excited about Malgus. I, too, have been to I've been to the EA headquarters and taken a picture with the massive Malgus statue myself. I'll see if I can't edit that into this video if I can go through and find it. But really excited to have him coming to the game. We've covered everything that I wanted to cover. Is there anything else you guys are willing to spill or discuss about Malgus at all?
Doubtful.
Oh, his relic is his rebreather. I'll give you that.
Oh, okay. Rebreather relic. That's awesome. I'm guessing you're not able to speak to this, but I have to ask on principle. Are there any other characters coming from the Sith Empire era that we can use with Malak that you can talk about? Or sorry, Malgus.
Oh, we can't talk about anything like that.
Of course you can't. Gosh dang it, you guys. But you can't say anything.
We just said a lot. We said a ton.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I want more. I'm like
I know
Kylo
you
Ren
do.
here, man. I'm just firing more.
I hear you. I hear you.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I appreciate you taking the time. I think I could speak on behalf of the community. We're all hyped for this. And if you're not hyped for this, just go play SWOTOR and then you will be hyped for this. So thank you guys so much for joining.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Thanks very much.
All
Yeah, real
right.
pleasure. Thank
Hopefully that kit comes out soon, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting out of here. Have a good day.